Here we go. Okay, well, I'm glad that you guys are here tonight. I'm glad you have your oils with you. I'm going to ask you to do something specific with the frankincense later, but if you just can't help yourself and you want to smell it now, then go ahead and smell it now. It's so good to see your faces. I'm so happy and thankful that we have Zoom in order to do this. So we're going to get started with some introductions. You want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Tiffany Fernandez, and I have been with Young Living for over 6 years now. Having a Young Living business was not something I had planned at all. In fact, sometimes I'm still surprised how that all happened. But for me, this journey has been always about wanting to help others, share with others. It's always just kind of been a part of my DNA. I've always known that at some point, I wanted to be with people, around people, helping people in one way or another. And so first it was through psychology, then it was, chiropractic, which I still do. And then oils walked into my life, and it was quite a surprise. I really never expected all of the amazing benefits of being a part of a Young Living business. It's so much more than just sharing oils with people or just sharing products with people. And that's the part that just kind of blows my mind. And tonight we're going to talk a little bit about our whys and your whys, and have a chance to give pen and paper, because we'll be doing that at the end. Just kind of, you don't have to share with us, but just really talking about why. And so my why has morphed many times. In the beginning, it was like, I just wanted to share with people. I just wanted to tell them. And then, one day a check showed up, and I didn't really quite understand what was happening with that. In fact, it was my husband who opened, this is back when we had paper checks that showed up in the mail, and he opened it and he was like, how did you do this? Like, where did this come from? And I was like, well, when I disappear at night and, I'm not there. So, but anyways, for me, it's just so amazing how that why has morphed. But for us gathering here together, I just want to say that one of the biggest blessings for me is now not just helping people with their overall wellness and sharing how we can detoxify the home, which I'm super passionate about, and oils and things like that. But it's actually like working together as a team and helping to change people's lives financially. And so that's huge for me. And I love that, because I've always loved community and like linking arms with people. And so to be able to like be on that journey, to be able to help people in that way. And so if that's something that you feel on your heart too, where you're like, wow, like I would really love to help people in their physical needs, and then also in their financial needs. And of course, we know oils and our products help with emotional needs. I mean, it's just amazing what you're able to help people with. So for me, Young Living just means that I get to be able to be more to more people.
Yes, I love that.
And so anyways,
that's so good, to be more to more people. I love that. Okay, so my name's Christy, for those of you who don't know me, and Tiffany Fernandez is actually not only my chiropractor, but also my really, 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 really good friend. And we've known each other for way before oils. And I'm also a childbirth educator, so we kind of started that passion together. She's Webster certified, so we just kind of started going in the same direction. But she was always more of like the healthy, like she was the guru to ask any kind of supplement question or anything like that. And I was always kind of on the fringe, just a little bit, until one day oils happened, and then it just kind of exploded. And yes, we can help more people because of that. So she's also my direct upline. So in Young Living, an upline is the person or the group of persons that have explored Young Living before you, and they are directly responsible for helping you explore Young Living as well. So there's something called a sponsor and an enroller. in Young Living. And Tiffany is both of mine. And sometimes those are a little bit different. We'll get into that later in another video. But this is my sponsor and enroller and friend and now partner in this business, which is awesome, right? I love the way that she said we get to help more people, because when I was thinking about what to bring tonight to you guys, it just kept coming back to me that we are a vessel, and we're a vessel of change, and we are a vessel that can be poured out onto others. And we can't do that, and we know this very well. Most of us are mothers on here. If not mothers, you are caregivers or not caretakers, caregivers, or you're helping the community in some way. And we know that we can't pour out of an empty vessel, right? So my favorite thing about Young Living is kind of similar. We do get to help more people. What'd you say? Help more people, help more people? I don't know.
With more ways. Help
more
people,
ways.
help
Yeah.
more people in more ways.
We get to do that. But my favorite part about that is that I'm healthy enough to do that, you guys. Like, I am able to say that my cup does not get too empty mainly ever. And the source of that is my relationship with the Lord. But Young Living has helped me physically feel more energetic and able to be this light in the world. Okay. And so I love the ability to be able to teach people about the products, but I also love being able to have a community of people, of like-minded people, doing this thing together and having this teamwork and camaraderie in being more to more people. So I can't wait to bring you guys what we are talking about tonight. So let's go into a little bit more into depth why Young Living is so amazing. You guys know that already, but there is a difference between what we do and what like brick and mortar businesses do, right?
Sure. Yeah. And I think if you're wanting to know more about what really makes Young Living different,
yeah.
Last month we did this call and we really dove into that. And so I'm just going to invite you, if you want that link, let us know, because we're going to kind of breeze over that tonight and kind of skip a little bit forward. But that is recorded if you'd like to know that. But I love to talk about why Young Living over a brick and mortar business. And it's always been relevant, and I feel like it's even more relevant now. It's just that reasoning has gotten intensified. But brick and mortar businesses, which I do own a brick and mortar business, take a lot of money to start up, and you usually do not see a profit for many years. Whether you've taken out a loan or whatever's happened with that, usually it takes many years to see a profit back. And so with Young Living, that's completely different. And you're able to see an income right away. Your monthly investment in a brick and mortar business, your overhead is very high. And in this, it's very low. In fact, if you want to build a business, it is a minimum of 100 PV each month, which is around $100. So as far as businesses go and your investment and the fact that what you're getting for that $100, because it's not like you're just sending $100 to someone, you're getting all of the products that you need for yourself and for your family with that. So just the ability to see income quickly with this, to not have a high overhead with Young Living, in case you're not familiar, but there's no products that you need to stock. So we are a direct order company and things are going directly to customers, which is a huge deal. If you've ever been in another direct sales type company. So there's no investment that you are going to lose out on with this. And so that's very, very different than a brick and mortar type business.
Because you're investing in your own health or in your family's wellness anyway, right? So like there's no extra involved. You would just be doing this anyway. So I like to tell people, like, you have literally nothing to lose because you're already loving your products.
It's true. You have nothing to lose, especially if you're if you are loving your products, and then if you're loving your products, you're spending 100 ER. That's what you're doing. And, that's just really the bottom line. And so there's just nothing that you could possibly lose out on by sharing with someone else. And by sharing with someone else, the possibilities are endless on what can happen from that. And I am living proof of that because, like I said, I literally did not know what I was doing, and I didn't understand what the possibilities were by sharing with my friends. And so it's incredible. So, and the other thing is, of course, no advertising, right? Because Young Living is doing all of that. You don't have to make marketing materials and all of those kinds of things. So in 2020, I feel like it just got even more emphasized, the fact that you can run a business. It's yours and yours alone. You're in control of it from your own home. We can do things like this, where when the world gets a little bit crazy, we actually still can connect with people. And we have that opportunity to be able to help them even remotely.
You don't have to pay rent.
You don't have to pay rent. So it's just an amazing opportunity for sure.
It really is. So that brings us to talking about residual income. And this is something that you're going to hear when you get into this business a lot, because it's almost like this word. I mean, it was a word that I was like, what is that? Why do people keep talking about that? So I just want to define it for you really quick, and so we can talk through what that does mean, okay? So residual income is the money that continues to pay you after your initial efforts, okay? So sometimes this can be for life. So let's think through, with that definition in mind, what are some thoughts that come to mind when you think of people who are earning residual income? They could be like movie stars or performers or authors, or they can be network marketers. And so this was something that I never was like, I'm going to be, when I grow up, a professional network marketer. But I can tell you, I'm so proud to be in this business, because not only is it the way of the future, it's the way right now. Okay. So there has never been a better time to be sharing about emotional health and wellness and physical health and wellness. It is at such a time as this that we are born to speak what is happening in our own life. Okay. And so if we're healthy, we can do that much better. And Young Living has given us that health. So residual income is a perk and an amazing benefit to having a professional network marketing business like Young Living. Residual income is also amazing because it's willable. It's something that you can pass down, like a legacy, to your children. And that's not the case with all other jobs out there. I love that about Young Living. They are such a family-oriented business. It's probably one of the reasons why I was sold on this company to begin with, because the purity matters. And as a childbirth educator and a doula, people were asking me questions about what is safe for their children, what is safe during pregnancy. And after trying them all out, you guys, I found the one that worked the fastest, and I didn't even know why. And when I started uncovering why, which was the purity involved, I was like, okay, this is a no-brainer. I don't have any problem saying that Young Living can be used on those two people groups, pregnancy and babies, okay? I can't say that with other companies. And so I just love the heart behind that, because it's such a family-oriented business. Gary and Mary Young started this out that way, and Mary was the one that said, I think we should do this as a network marketing company. She had a past in network marketing and a very successful past in it. And so Gary didn't know anything really about that. And she said, let's do it together. And so their heart grew for more and more people, and they brought their children along on this journey as well. And they made the product so that they could say, we're using this on our children, right? It's the purity that we're okay with. And then they took it a step further and said, let's make this company something that we can live as a legacy and pass it down to our family members. So you better believe it. My mom and my dad are both members, and now my firstborn just signed up to get his membership. So this is something that when I die, or when my mom dies, like, it's willable to me. Even though I have a business already in Young Living, I am also able to continue receiving on hers as well once she has passed. It's willable. Okay, so that's really important with residual income as well. Is there anything else you want to talk about residual income?
Well, I was just thinking about when we were saying, this business allows us to help more people in more ways. To me, also, residual income is the gateway to being able to spend more time in the things that you're super passionate about, right? So, I mean, I bet you all could write down right now something that you just wish you had more time for, a charity or a cause or something like that, where you're like, if I didn't have another job, or if I didn't have, you know what I mean? Like, if I just had more time freedom, financial freedom, like, what could I do? So anyways, that was the other thing I was just thinking about, is like, that's what residual income, I see that as
time freedom too.
Yeah, time freedom, and just being able to help, do the things you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Instead of them being like the smallest amount of your time, like, you can increase the time for those things you're passionate about.
Yeah, I love that.
Can I say something really quick, ladies?
Yeah, please.
So I'm sorry if my kids are crazy in the background, but so it's interesting because when I started the business for, like, I don't know how to explain it, but like current income. Like, I needed money now, and I needed money at that time to be able to, stay home with my kids and just have like a cushion. And the past year has been really, really crazy for our family, and we've moved pretty much overseas, or we moved all the way to Hawaii. And I was interested in going back to work, and was offered a job opportunity at a local children's hospital doing the profession I went to school for. And I did not like the schedule that they offered me, and I was able to say no. And I think that was the first time that I ever realized what a beautiful thing residual income was, because I didn't have to go back. I wanted to, but it didn't work for me. Like, what they offered didn't work for my family, and I was able to say no without hesitancy. And I've never felt such freedom before for myself or my family. So even if your residual income is not in the hundreds of thousands of dollars every month, even just enough to make the decisions for your family that matter the most is a beautiful, beautiful blessing.
Yes,
I love that.
that's so good. Yeah, as a doula, I was working 24/7, honestly. Like, being on call 24/7, you have adrenaline that just like shoots in your body whenever your phone goes off, or if you just had this feeling that maybe they would call, which is usually right. And so I loved my job as a doula. Do not get me wrong. I loved it, but it was taxing on my physical body, and my body was paying the price for that. And I knew that I could not continue doing that for a long period of time, because I also had a mother that had been diagnosed with a terminal illness. And so I said, I need to let go of being a doula, and I need to pursue this business even harder, so that I would be able to have that time freedom to take care of my mom, and really kind of doula my mom through this without having to worry about being on call. So that's awesome. I love that, Lisa. All right, let's move into the next thing, and then we're going to talk about a little activity.
Sure. So a little bit more just on residual income, but just specifically like thinking about numbers, because I'm not really good with numbers. So I love when someone can like just put it in black and white for me. But in Young Living, there are different ranks. And with each rank comes increases in your income, not only by the amount of volume that's going on in your business, but by those ranks. And so there's a rank that I like to point out, which is gold. Gold is right above silver. And the average gold, these numbers are a couple of years old. I don't have the most recent, but the average gold makes around $6,000 a month. And so to be able to have $6,000 a month.
I mean, just think about that, you guys. What's like the first thing that comes to your mind if you had a $6,000 a month paycheck? Like, write that down. That's somewhere in your dreams. That's there for a reason. Okay. So just write that down and just pause for a minute and think about, when I'm gold one day, I will make this amount, which makes my life look totally different.
Right. And if you've got specifics, write those specifics if they're coming to your mind right now. Like, what would that specifically do, to have that 6,000 each month? So if you have, so think about this for a minute. If you had a traditional 401k plan, just think for a minute, what do you think you would need to have in your 401k plan at retirement? A total number, like what would be the number that needed to be sitting in that plan that would be the equivalent of $6,000 coming in each month? So you've hit retirement, you didn't have your Young Living business, you said no, you walked away, all you had was that 401k. What do you need in there to make $6,000 a month? All right, you got your number? So the number is $1.8 million you will need in your 401k plan. And if you really want to dive into that,
I see the eyebrows are going up like,
yep.
Ooh.
We've got a video. I can send you the link of an accountant who breaks it all down, and he knows all the numbers, and he can kind of prove to you how that works out. I just think that that's amazing. And, and then you think about the level of platinum, and the average platinum is making $14,000 a month in residual income. So this is available to all of us. All of us are able to do this. You are your own boss. There's no ceiling. There's no one telling you that you don't get promoted. You promote yourself in Young Living. And so that's it's so empowering to me to understand that it's like, it's in my hands. It's in God's hands, but like,
you get to work it.
I get to work it right here on this earth. And so that's amazing to me. So the thing I always like to point out is that no matter what speed you decide to do this business, with those numbers, if you had those numbers in 20 years from now, would you be happy? Even if that didn't happen for you in 3 years or 4 years, which it can, you can do that in 3 or 4 years. You really can. But depending on how much time you decide to invest, what you decide to put into this, even if it did take 20 years, wouldn't it still be worth it? Wouldn't it still be worth your time? Because the best part is that this journey is so fun, and it's so filled with all these other perks of relationships and personal growth, tons and tons and tons of personal growth, that I can promise you it would be worth it.
Yeah.
It's not 20 years at a traditional job, which even then would be amazing if you could get that, but you can't.
Right.
So I just love residual income.
Yeah, I love that too. So we're going to talk through a little bit about why. You hear about people's whys in this business a lot. And I like to, so I'm a doula, right? So I'm going to bring some birth analogy in here. So bear with me if that's not your cup of tea. But during childbirth education, there's this point in labor that is called transition, where everything starts to kind of unravel. And you just don't think you can do it anymore. And you're at that point. And what's interesting is these first-time moms who get to that point, they don't know how close they are. But if you're a second-time mom and you've been there before, you are welcoming transition because you know the next phase is pushing and you got this, right? But everyone starts to kind of unravel a little bit in transition. So we do this activity that kind of talks about their why. Like, why do you want to do this? And these are ways to remind you of your why when everything feels like it's unraveling. And I think it's really important for us to do this as business builders, no matter where you are in this journey. If you just started like yesterday or maybe even today, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? I want you to just stop a minute and stop comparing yourself to everybody else. Everyone right now, this second, is on the same playing field when I'm asking you these questions. Because if we get down to the nitty-gritty about why we first shared with that first person, That's where I want that passion to bubble up inside of you. I want you to hold on to that and write it down so that when you're in the transitions of this journey through getting up into the ranks and you feel like you're just not going anywhere and you're sharing your heart out and no one's saying yes anymore, I want you to tap into this piece of paper tonight. And I want you to smell that frankincense so that it will remind you of this experience. And I want you to just go there and remind yourself why you're doing this, okay? Because very quickly we can get off our road of abundance because we have forgotten our path's purpose. And so our goals are awesome, but our goal isn't why we are doing it. And so I want to kind of define those with you, if you guys would give me that privilege to do that. Take out frankincense, and if you have it nearby or anything that you want that like makes you just kind of tap into a deeper reasoning, okay? Frankincense is one for me. I'm just going to do this. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I'm taking a frankincense.
No frankincense for you.
Okay, and I want you to take some really, really big deep breaths. Can you remember the first person that you shared oils with? Think back to that first person that you shared with. Think about why you shared that. What was your experience that you just had to share? I want you to write down that experience that you just had to share. And then I want you to tap into why you shared it with that person. What were your emotions behind that? Was it excitement? Was it
Caring about?
yeah. Was it awe? Like, I can't believe it really worked. That was me. Was it caring about someone? Was it that you heard a need and you knew an answer? What was that reason? Okay, and then what I want you to do is write down that person's name. Maybe they're on the call here with us. And I want you to just smell your oil again as you look at that name and as you say that name. And as you remember that experience. Okay, the awesome thing about oils is that it goes straight to the limbic center of the brain. And your limbic center is where your emotions sit. And so we know that essential oils have a positive impact on mood, behavior, memory, and cognition. So if that is true, we know that when we look at that name, we say that name, and we smell this oil, and we ask ourselves what our why was, immediately we can tap back into that emotion because all of these things are working together. Okay, isn't that awesome? I just love that science part of essential oils. All right, now I'm going to ask you to unearth your big why, but in like why you would be doing this business, okay? Why you would be sharing with more people. And this is going to challenge some of you. It challenged me, and I'm going to do it with you as well. So you might hear some of my responses, but try to not go from what I'm saying, really tap into your reasonings, okay? All right. Hold on, let me find myself here. Okay. I want you to ask yourself, what is your goal for your business? And when I say I want you to ask yourself, like, you're muted. So literally say, what is my goal for my business? Okay. What is my goal for my business? So write it down and be specific. So like it usually will have a timetable. So for me, I'm going to make it this year timetable. And it could be a rank, it could be an amount, it could be an amount of people that you're going to share with this year. Whatever that is. What is your goal for your business? Okay. And I want you to smell your oil. All right. So repeat your goal for your business out loud if you want. And then I want you to ask yourself, why is that your goal? for your business? When you're walking through these steps, it's really important for you to listen to your gut response, and listen to what comes as though you're walking through this, because if you can't get very specific, or if you push it away, or if your goal seems really not very attainable, that means you're actually avoiding something, and we want to take you through it to get there. Okay, so that last question was, why is this my goal? So like for me, my answer was because the financial freedom of this rank, I said diamond, offers, would let us like get ahead on things. So I'm not going to go into specifics, but it would just enable us to get ahead on things. Okay, so now I want you to smell your oil again. So you answered, why is this your goal? Okay, now I want you to ask yourself the question based on that answer and write it down. Why is, so for me, I said financial freedom. So why is financial freedom important? So you do that for your answer. Does that make sense? So whatever your answer was, why is that important? You all with me? Give me thumbs up if you're with me. Okay. And then I want you to smell your oil again. Take some big deep breaths. For me, the answer to that question was because we could stop worrying about debt. Okay, so again, ask yourself a why question based on the answer before that, and be really specific. So why would not worrying about debt be important? Okay, so why would whatever you said in the answer before be important? I want you to smell your oil again. So for me, that answer was because I could concentrate on the moment and enjoy time with my family more. Okay, so this is the 6th time we're doing this now. Again, ask yourself a why question based on the answer before, write it down and answer it. So for my example, it would be, why is concentrating on the moment and family important? So go back to your question and do the same thing. Okay, go ahead and smell your oil. Okay, this is the last time we're going to ask this question. Ask yourself a question based on that answer and write it down. So mine was because I missed out on so much time that I could have been with them and I need to be present. So this next question, if I'm unearthing the why, would be, why is being present important? Okay. Okay, and then go ahead and smell your oil again. And if there's one more thing that's just bursting inside you that you have to get down on paper because all of a sudden it's making sense why you want to share this opportunity with others, why you want to meet the goal that you put down on paper, Whatever that is, just bursting out of you, go ahead and write that down. Why is that last thing so important to you? That last thing that you wrote down on your paper. Okay, so now what I want you to do is write your initial why. Like, actually, you already wrote it. Circle it. Okay, circle your initial reason why you thought you wanted to do this business. And what you've done is you've uncovered the root of that, which is really powerful, especially in the stagnant parts of your business. And I want you to just star that. And then I want you to think about that in a new way. And how is knowing your true why, how is this going to affect how you run your business now? When you look at that and you picture that, how is that going to impact you when you're too afraid to share it with someone because they might think that you're just trying to get their money or something? Like, that's not why. That's not why you're sharing. You're sharing because remember that first time that you ever shared with somebody, it made you excited because you had hope for someone that didn't have an answer for something, and you had the answer for them, and you said, here, I want to share with you, right? Many people get in this business because they want to help others. Not many people get in this business because they want other people's money. What happens is we see the beauty of helping others gets to help your family as well. And so if that should change everything for you. That should squash your fears so that they never uproot them again. Like, you should be able to say, I'm standing firm on the belief that I have something to share with the world and they need it. Everybody needs this. There is not a single person out there that doesn't need a product from Young Living, and you get to share it with them. You get to, right? And because you get to do this, and because your why is so big now in your heart, you want to do it now. You want to get up and share with people in the morning, right? You want to get up and say, who, Lord, do you have in my path today that I get to share this incredible encouragement with? And it changes everything.
Yeah.
You know? I hope this was exciting for you. It really unearthed some things in me. And if you want to share those, we would love to hear them. We can stop the recording in a little bit so that you don't have to share with the world on your why. But I just thought that that was an awesome thing to do. And I think that we need to like plaster it in places, and especially tell your upline, because we're here to start to, you know, when you feel like you just can't do this anymore and you're just getting no's all the time and you don't have anything exciting about it anymore, it's just kind of the same old, we're here to hold your hand and say, you remember why you're doing this? So I would love for you to share your why. If you're in my downline, you know, you're in her downline. But if you're in my downline, we'll take the weight off of Tiffany for all of you sharing with her. But I would love to know your why. And I would love to be able to show it to you in that hard transition time, because you guys, it's worth it. It's so worth it. She read off a couple of numbers, but if you go to the income disclosure statement and you really study that and look at it and circle that level, that would just change things for you amazingly. Like, imagine that life, right? Now, what we're not saying is that this is going to be easy. In fact, the whole purpose behind doing this activity is because we're telling you it's not going to be easy. But even if you weren't getting paid, wouldn't you still share these products with people? I mean, I would. I don't know how you couldn't.
Susan's like,
who? Susan, yeah. Like, I just don't know how it would be possible to keep my mouth shut about these products.
I don't either. And the fact that we get to do this, and every day it's about whose life you get to change.
Yeah.
That's,
I mean, you guys, like, even just thinking about the testimonies that we see here on the screen, migraines, you know, they're not living on that anymore, right? Because they have health and wellness, right? Me, my own endometriosis story, that's not my story anymore. That's my past. Like, we have incredible testimonies just within the people that are on this call right now. And to think about, this is just a minuscule amount of people. I mean, how many people do you have in your team? Do you know?
The whole thing?
Yeah.
Over 2,200.
Over 2,200 people in our community. That's over 2,200 people that have the opportunity to change their story.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Because of you all.
It's amazing.
That is amazing.
I'm so glad you guys were here. I am going to shut off the recording right now, and I really would love to hear some of your responses to this. So, okay, so I want you to imagine I didn't just ask you these questions. Think about the last person that you shared oils with now, because I asked you earlier to share who was the first person you shared oils with. Now is the last person, and I want you to answer, how did you share oils with them? And ask the next question to yourself is, was it effective? Who, how, and was it effective? Because if the answer to the last question is not what you want to hear, then we might need to adjust this one, which is the how. And so something that you guys are going to hear over and over and over in this business is get oils on people. Get oils on people. COVID has made it a little bit more complicated to get oils on people. But there is a way to do that both on social media and by dropping them off, like Stephanie just told us about. Like, she just drove way far out of her way to drop off samples to someone. Okay, so that might be what you have to do. You might have to mail them to someone. But how are you going to know what to mail unless you are building this relationship with people? And that brings us back to our why. Most of our whys are reflective of love for other people. Okay, and so if we can get creative on here, and we can ask people if they would attend a Zoom call with us. Ask people, hey, how are you doing? Like, just try that question. How are you doing? I haven't talked to you in a really long time. How are you? And let them unroll, right? And then see if there is a way you can help them. If there is a way you can help them, then maybe it's not the right time to just go ahead and say it at that time. But if they bring it up again, you better believe it's the right time. So if you haven't spoken to someone in a really long time, what I'm saying is don't just jump right into oils, because no matter if your heart is right in that or not, they might feel as though they're just a dollar sign to you. And that is the last thing you want to do in this business or in this world, is turn people off. We want to help people grow and uplift them and encourage them. We don't want them to think that way, because that's not what we're trying to do. Okay. So if you've been in relationship with this person very intimately, like you know what's going on to their day-to-day basis, if you just spoke with them last week, if you are a part of their life, absolutely ask them the same question. Hey, I know we have talked like this whole week, but I don't think I've asked you, how are you? And somebody asked me this week, and you can be real, because I'm asking you right now, how are you? Really, how are you? And you can say, like, I had that question asked of me, and I just was kind of taken back because I don't know how I am. And so I just want to ask you, because I love you. How are you? How are you doing? And then let them unveil. And because you're in a relationship with them, you can, if you see a need, you can offer to help. And you can say, I'm going to drop something off tomorrow. Okay. And just do me a favor, use it this way, and then tell me how you feel. Okay. They're not going to think that you're just trying to get them to give you money, because they know you love them. So oftentimes we cut ourselves short because we're afraid of what the other people think. Stop thinking for them. They can think for themselves. So I'm asking you again, when is the last time that you shared with someone? If it has been too long, which honestly is longer than a week, then you need to start using your oils so much that you have a new testimony to share with people. And I want you to go ahead and jump on board social media, or jump on board your contact list on your phone, and share the heck out of what happened to you and how those oils made you feel. Now, I'm also going to give you a caveat right now. We cannot say they've healed us, but you can say, this is what I did, and this is how I feel now. Okay? Whenever you start the sentence off with, this is how they made me feel, or this is what I know to be true about myself, no one can say that that's not compliant. Compliance means that we are not allowed to treat, diagnose, or cure or prevent with essential oils. So our language when on social media needs to be different than when we are in our living room, in our kitchen, on our back porch. It needs to be different. And that's just the rules that we have to abide by, okay? But if you have a testimony like Susan's, you better share it, girl, because there are people that it can help. And maybe it's not going to be the same exact effect on others, but you know that they're powerful enough to affect them in a positive way. Okay, what do you want to say? Anything? I feel like I'm yelling at you guys now. I was all this soft-spoken, and now I'm like, "Brr." So go share with people.
Yeah. No, it's great. You said it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I hope this has inspired you guys. We do want to honor the time. I feel like opening it up for some questions, though. So let's go ahead and stop the recording.
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay
Sure.
with that?
Yeah, it's fine.
And then we can ask some questions.